Alright, just bear with me on this one. It's gonna be a roller coaster. Gonna go all over the place on this record. At number 16, up from number 18. I'm crazy about her. Rod Stewart on this fancy playlist of July 30th, 1989. One of those Love Lorne songs by Rod Stewart. And the album is called Out of Order. It was a big album. Uh, went eventually went 2 times platinum, went to number 20 on Billboard's Top 200 album charts. My Heart Can't Tell You No, Forever Young on this album by Rod Stewart. But before I get to all that, I saw a video. It was put on my Facebook feed recently. Boy, it was a jam. Going back to the mid-60s when Rod Stewart was singing with Long John Baldry, the legendary bluesman Long John Baldry. He was in a couple of groups with Long John Baldry. It was Hoochie Coochie Man, and then there was Steam Packet. Steam Packet in 1965, and later Rod Stewart would join the Jeff Beck group, playing with the legendary. He was singing the legendary Jeff Beck. I tell you, he was Rod Stewart. He's known in the 70s and 80s, but he did a lot of work. Did a lot of singing, working with groups back in the 60s. Rod Stewart. Well, anyway, in this video, it was a jam session. They were doing this R&B record, American R&B record. Can't remember the name of the record, but it was an all-out soul review. Long John Baldry got up and sang. Then it was Steve Winwood, 15, 16, 17-year-old Steve Winwood before, or right around the time he started singing lead with the Spencer Davis group. Steve Winwood in that video. Somebody else who later became famous but can't remember who it was. Then Rod Stewart came out and belted out his portion of the record. God, man, you discover that's the beauty of YouTube, and discover all these old videos that you've never seen and everything. Well, anyway, let's go. I want to talk about real quick. The first cut is the deepest. Everybody remembers here in the States. Everybody remembers the Rod Stewart version. And it did well. Went to number 21. Did respectably well for Rod Stewart in 1977. The first cut is the deepest. But what a lot of people don't know here in the United States, that the first cut is the deepest goes back to the 60s. Cat Stevens wrote it. Cat Stevens put that song on an album, but it was not released as a single. However, the British hit version of the first cut is the deepest, 1968. Top 20 hit for an American artist, R&B artist who sang backup with Ike and Tina Turner, PP Arnold. Sang, boy, she did a great version of that song too. She did it. British hit back in 1968. The first American version of the first cut's the deepest. Keith Hampshire. He was originally from England, but moved to Canada. He was big in Canada, but never made it here in the States real big. But Keith Hampshire's version of First Cut is the Deepest went to number 70 here in the States. Dan Rod Stewart covered it 1977. And then you might remember Sheryl Crow did a version of it, which went to number 14 on Billboard's Hot 100 2003. So the First Cut's the Deepest. Boy, that song had legs. Well, let's go back to this. Reminds me of that song by Rod Stewart, Hot Legs, back in 1978. Well, anyway, Rod Stewart now. My Heart Can't Tell You No was one of the big hits off the album. That was written by Climby Fisher, who was in the group called, well, actually, it was written by Simon Climby. My bad. It was written by Simon. The co-writer of that song was Simon Climby, who was in the group Climby Fisher, and they had that hit. You might remember that song they did back in 1988, 89, Love Changes Everything. And that song, written by Simon Climby, I told you it's gonna be a roller coaster. All right, let's back up a little bit. I gotta calm down. I need a drink. My Heart Can't Tell You No, written by Simon Climby and by Dennis Morgan. Dennis Morgan, who wrote songs by Barbara Mandrell, and he co-wrote the song with Kai Fleming. Dennis Morgan, he co-wrote Smoky Mountain Rain by Ronnie Millsap, and Nobody by Sylvia. Back in the early 80s, country and pop crossovers. So what I'm just trying to get across is the amount of talent that was poured into this album by Rod Stewart. The guy, Rod Stewart knew talent, boy. He really did. He picked it too. Now on this song, Crazy About Her, written by Rod Stewart. I didn't get the name of one of the co-writers of this song, but one of the co-writers of this record, Jim Creegan, Cregan. He was in Rod Stewart's band. He was a bass player, guitar player. He plays acoustic guitar on this album, Out of Order. He co-wrote this song, but he's co-written many songs with Rod Stewart. Jim Creegan did. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. Cregan. Sounds like a chant. Well, it sounds like I'm chanting. Cregan. Well, anyway, Jim Creegan co-wrote a number of songs with Rod Stewart, including Passion back in 1980, and Tonight I'm Yours. Remember Tonight I'm Yours back in 1982, a single that was put out by Rod Stewart in 1982. So we got this song by Rod Stewart, Crazy About Her. All right. At number 16 on my fantasy playlist, up 2 from number 18. Oh, by the way, this album, I forgot about this. Glad I caught myself. The album, Out of Order. Guess who produced it? Andy Taylor of Duran Duran. And Bernard Edwards, formerly of Chic and Power Station. Bernard Edwards and John Taylor, or Andy Taylor rather, they played together in the Power Station. Remember Get It On, their version of the T-Rex classic, and also Some Like It Hot. They co-produced this album with Rod Stewart. Tony Thompson, former drummer of Chic, he plays on this album too, Out of Order by Rod Stewart. Rockin' Rod Stewart, rockin' with the talent, rockin' at number 16 with Crazy About Her on my fancy playlist, July 30th, 1989.